Yes guys, Future Stars Team 2 is on its way later this week, and in today's video we have the ultimate guide. We're going to be going over leaks, investments, content to expect, cards that we can kind of buy from the current Future Stars team, all that good stuff. So let's start it off with the leaks. And quite simply, Team 2 looks absolutely incredible, and it's going to pop up on your screen here, but we're going to start off with the worst and go to the best. Our first three are Ibanez, Salisu, and Kabore, and honestly, these three cards don't even look that bad, honestly. We had a pretty good Team 1. I imagine the stats would be very good as well for those cards. We also have Miranda, Nunez, and Raspadori. Now these three as well are going to be pretty sick. The potential card I saw for Nunez looks like he could be a real beast as well. So we have some really good selections here from some kind of non-league guys. And then we move over to Kakarette here. Probably said his name wrong. I apologize. Brian Hill and Daka. We have three guys who are going to be really cool. I'm excited for the Premier League guys only because that's the only league I watch. But regardless, they actually look like they could be really good. I think Daka's going to be really sick. His winter wild card was fun to use. I imagine this one would be good too. And then we have, well, we have Lacroix. He looks like he could be an absolutely unreal defender. He actually could probably be the best defender in the game. Hopefully taking out Kimpembe, who somehow in January, February is still the best defender in the game somehow. I don't know. We then have Gravenberch, who should be a really fun card. He does have a couple specials already. You know, he'll be a good center mid. The center mids have been very, very good this game with Bellingham, Tchouaméni. Like, we had good center mids so far, and it only gets better because we also have Pedri and Wirtz. And that is our Future Stars Team 2. It looks absolutely unreal. Now hold the phone because we do obviously have the dual potential mini release that came out. So we do have, of course, the striker Ferran Torres, Elmas, and a right back Tomiyasu, where these cards, of course, will next week come out, but with different positions. We actually did see a little bit of this last year. I'm actually surprised that no one really predicted it. But we also are going to be getting a Ferran Torres right wing card, a Elmas cam card, and then a center back Tomiyasu. So we have, you know, three cards coming out next week too, which are going to be really cool. And of course, we're going to have a ton of SBCs as well. Now, as far as content to expect, I mean, you guys kind of know what content's going to be coming out. We've kind of already seen it. We're going to be getting player SBCs. We're likely going to see another talent scout come out. We've kind of seen the vote already. You should see that one come out Friday again. But yeah, the players have been really good through this promo. I thought Diaz was pretty cool. We saw, you know, the Future Stars requirement actually needed, so it might be a good idea to keep an eye on. We'll talk about it in a second. We saw a flashback or moments Calvert-Lewin. So really for the next kind of week, expect kind of the same thing to kind of come out. We're going to probably see some kind of icon pack, maybe a hero pack, some more player SBCs, as well as hopefully some flashbacks and some player moments. I don't think we've had a flashback yet, but I do expect to see one probably very soon. We should get at least two. And of course, expect another FUT Academy objective player. Hopefully he'll be much better than the card we got so far, because this Chalaba, he's good, but I don't think he's really worth the grind. And not to like knock anyone doing it, but literally you can go and buy Kimpembe or Rafael Varane for 20, 10, not even, probably like 5K off the market. Save yourself a ton of just stress and boredom in squad battles. So let's go look on Futbin here. We're going to go take a look at the market. Now, first off, before we jump into anything, I do want to take a look at the Future Star prices, because obviously that kind of determines, you know, what's going to be good for investing, what's going to be bad for investing. So the first thing we can look at, of course, is the prices. All these cards have come down so much since they first released, and I'm not honestly surprised at the low prices we're seeing. It was to be expected. Konate only sits at 300k, Acuna sits at 170, Smith Rowe is 710k, and Vlahovic is 530. Jude is the only card that I thought would keep a high price, and he is about 1.3 mil. We also have Tchouaméni, who's 900k. So these cards have kept their prices somewhat, but it's really going to take a really, really great player to keep their price during this promo, because again, Team of the Years are very cheap. We're seeing all these other versions that we have in the game. The market is very low overall. So of course, it just doesn't make sense to buy at all during this period. I really wouldn't buy any future stars until probably like Wednesday or Thursday, when we know that there's no more big supply of these cards coming, because these cards of course could just drop again with more supply this week. We don't know really what EA has in store as far as the store packs go. Now, what about link investments? Did any of them do any good? And to quickly answer your question, not really. Now, sure, maybe some of the links to maybe Jude or Tushimeni, like some of our meta cards that we usually have anyways that would go up on a Friday weekend league period. Yeah, sure, maybe those ones went up, but a lot of the specific links which we really were kind of keen on going into is cards that would link, directly to them. Yeah, they didn't do too hot. And the reason for that is the cards just simply aren't good enough and aren't expensive enough. Link investment only really works well if you have cards that are expensive and very good. So yeah, maybe a Serbian or a Serie A card maybe did rise up with Vlahovic a little bit, but he is pretty good. But again, he's kind of 4-star, so he's a little bit more tough to play with. And again, there is some better options. Serie A, not the greatest kind of link for a league anyways. But then all our other specific players, for example, Gonzalo Ramos or Pedro Porro, like these cards are 20k, 30k. Links don't work with those kind of cards. And even the cards on the bench, they really didn't do too well either. Gakpo is discard. Trincao, who we kind of tried to flip quickly on Friday, which went completely south, by the way. He sits at, 45k on PS, so a lot of these cards are going to die. So for Team 2, you do have to be careful. Now, one investment to keep an eye on, of course, is these cards. If they get close to discard price or very low compared to some of their fodder prices, that is a definite pickup, because we are going to see more requirements probably with future stars needed. If we saw it once, we'll likely see it twice. And that kind of moves into the second thing, and that's going to be fodder. Fodder has started to drop. Obviously, we got a lot of lightning rounds over this period of time. So 83s are back to discard. 85s are down to about 8.3k. 84s are down about 3 or 4, which I think is a little high for them. 86s are to 14. But the big ones that we're looking at are these 89 rateds. And my good friend Kareem the Dream Benzema is now down to 35k now, which I think is a good idea to kind of look into, because as I said, 30 to 32k is a buy zone for him. I think high rated fodder, it might be a good shout to pull the trigger on some of these cards, especially some of the future star ones as well. I think Gonzalo Ramos, 87 rated, he's 20k. Again, if we get a future stars requirement for Team 2 or something, it just makes sense. And it's why in this video, I am going to go all in on some of these cards. I am probably going to go all in on probably Gonzalo Ramos, because I think 20k is too cheap. All it takes is one requirement and these cards shoot up. Same with Gakpo again. And our first player, he wasn't super good. Don't get me wrong. Like, we saw like a massive spike the other day. I want to say it was Saturday, where the cards just spiked up because he was required for an SBC, but the SBC itself wasn't good, so it didn't maintain. I do think that we are going to see an SBC that is actually worth it. And when that does come, you will see these cards go up. So for me, when these cards get pretty much, now you guys can buy, but if you can get them a little bit lower too, I think you can make some serious coins off these cards if we do get another future stars requirement. Now keep in mind, it is obviously very risky because you are dependent on EA content. But even the gold cards, like I said, are really good shouts because they're getting to those low buy zones again that I just think they're gonna reverse up very, very soon. Informs have obviously been a very hot topic recently, and quite honestly, I don't think there's many that you could really buy. If you want to club stock some of these 81 informs, I think it's a good shout. We have a lot in Team of the Week right now, so picking up one of each is a good idea. Throw it in your club, he'll be worth something in, say, a couple weeks. And high rated fodder really hasn't been required and hasn't moved much. So for me, high rated fodder is just something that I'm not going to touch. The only card I maybe would consider is Di Maria, just because there is an 8k gap. But other than that, I'm staying away from the cards. So guys, expect all this to just kind of unfold over the week. We are probably going to get some kind of content soon, which may push up either the future stars or fodder up. Obviously, midweek, we always tend to see our icon content come out and stuff like that, and a lot of like casino SBCs, maybe a party bag. Something like that would obviously shoot up a lot of the fodder prices. which is why, it is good to get in early, of course. And then we are going to see, Future Stars on Friday, Team 2, and then we're likely going to get a teaser for the next promo or leaks for the next promo next weekend too.